Welcome students in the class of English Literature, MA Final, Paper Second, 19th Century English Literature. Today we will discuss about the critical analysis and critical appreciation of the poem The Lady of Shalott. The Lady of Shalott is an important poem of Alfred Lord Tennyson, and we have discussed the introduction of the poet as well as the introduction of the poem in the previous class. Today's topic is the critical appreciation of the poem The Lady of Shalott. Uh, the poem is very important for its quality of music and the important quality of Tennyson as a poet. So let's we start the critical appreciation of the poem The Lady of Shalott. First of all, I will give you some brief introduction of the poem again, and then we will start the development of thought and the other characteristics of the poem, and then the last conclusion. First of all, I will present the introduction of the poem. The poem Lady of Shalott was first published in the volume of 1833, and this volume of poetry is very important volume of Tennyson's poem. It was published again in the volume of 1842 in a much revised and improved form. It means the poem is published in the two volumes of William Tennyson's poetry. In the first volume 1833 and in the second volume of 1842. But the second publication was revised and improved in the form. The poem is a little fairy tale for children as well as a poem which can be interpreted symbolically and allegorically. So the poem has symbolical and allegorical importance because Tennyson presents its message through the use of symbols in this poem. It uses a hidden moral sense that a life of isolation cut off from reality is bound to result in frustration and tragedy. So, a moral message is given by the poet in this poem that the life of isolation or the life of alienation, that is totally cut off from the society or from the human world, results into frustration and tragedy. It means the life which is led by a person into isolation for a long period, that will be ultimately results into a tragedy or frustration, or we can say that in unhappening event, unhappy event. The poem is a pure fantasy, entirely the result of the poet's imagination working on a legend which fascinated him at that time. So we can say that the poem is a fairy tale, or it is an imaginative story of a lady named the Lady of Shalott. Next, we come to the development of thought. So, what is the theme of this poem and how the story is developed into the poem, stanza-wise by the poet. The Lady of Shalott is a narrative poem, and it is in four parts. There are the four major parts of the poem, or the poem divided into four parts. The first part of the poem gives us the scenic background to the story. The island of Shalott lies in a pleasant river which flows down to the city of Camelot, uh, and that city is the capital of King Arthur. So there is a great importance of the city Camelot in this poem, and the city is the capital of King Arthur. On both sides of the river are spread fields of barley and of rye. Beautiful lily flowers grow there. The mysterious Lady of Shalott lives all alone in her stately mansion. It means the main character of this poem is Lady Shalott, a Lady of Shalott, and she lives totally alone and in total isolation into her majestic building or in a great mansion. The people who work in the fields have often heard her sing. It means she passes her time by singing a song, and the people or the peasants, the farmers who are working in the fields around that palace, they hear the song or they listen the song of that lady, but nobody has ever seen her because she lives totally in isolation, so nobody has seen her. For she never stands at the window and waves her hand, because she never stands at the window and the lady never look outside the window of that building or that palace. She lives alone, totally isolated in her chamber or in her building, and she never waves hand towards the people who are walking outside the palace or the people who are working into their fields and farms. The mysterious surrounding the Lady of Shalott is suggested in the part first, and in the second part we are told uh, further about this strange lady. A mysterious whisper had told the lady that curse would befall her. It means it is the assumption, or we can say it is the hypothetical assumption or belief of the lady that if I will look outside the window of this room or this chamber, then any kind of tragedy, any kind of misfortune can take place into my life. So that's the tragedy of that lady. And due to that fear, she lives alone or totally isolated into her chamber or in this building. If she overlooked out towards Camelot, so she believes that if I look towards that city, Camelot, then any kind of tragedy, any kind of misfortune can take place in my life. So it is the hidden fear into the heart of that lady, and due to this hidden fear, she is not able to look outside the window or outside the chamber. So this is the fear, this is the tragedy of that lady, and she has to live alone, totally alone in this building. So she has a mirror hanging before her, and she looks at the scene and sights of the outside world reflected in this mirror, and she sees the scenes of the outside which reflected into the mirror. So it is the way how to see the scenes, because the scenes which were reflected in the mirror that she would see. Day and night, she weaves these scenes and sights into a magic wave. The another activity which she would perform during her isolation, that is weaving a wave. So it is a mysterious wave, and she used to pass her time in weaving a colorful wave. And the another activity, that is singing a song. So these two activities are there that she would perform, living isolated only in this building. Sometimes she sees young lovers passing by, and then she sadly exclaims, I am half sick of shadows. In this way, suggestion is thrown out that she is sexually frustrated. So we can say that lady is also frustrated, and her desires are not satisfied fully. So that is also the problem with this lady. Time passed. One day Sir Lancelot, one of the knights of Arthur's round table, passes close by the mansion of the Lady of Shalott. The lady sees his reflection in the mirror. Fascinated, she looks out. At once the wave flows out, the mirror cracks from the side to side. The lady knows that the curse has befallen her. So this is the problem. So one day, Sir Lancelot passes by the building, and the mirror breaks into the pieces. And in this way, the lady understood that a tragedy or misfortune has taken into her life. Part fourth describes the death of the Lady of Shalott. The last part or the first part is a very tragic part. In this part, the tragedy and the death of the lady is described in this part, and the death of the lady is also mysterious death, and that is beautifully described by the poet into the fourth part. Her end is pathetic. She lies down in a boat which is carried by a water of the river to Camelot. There the people come in large number to look at her. They find that she is dead. Lancelot too looks at her and muses over her beauty, because he was also attracted by the beautiful figure of the lady, and he muses over the beauty of the lady, that God has given a very beautiful charm to her body. the poem as a medieval romance. So the another aspect of this poem or the another interpretation of this poem is that the poem is a medieval romance because there is a romance in this poem. The Lady of Shalott is a medieval romance and the poet has created the medieval atmosphere with light skillful touches. The language has the simplicity of the medieval ballad makers. There are frequent repetitions in the manner of the ballad makers. Middle Ages were times of chivalry, knight errantry, women worship, magic, witchcraft. The setting of the poem is medieval. King Arthur and his knights living in the city named Camelot have been brought in. Sir Lancelot wears a blazed baldric with the figure of a knight kneeling before his lady. The Lady of Shalott regrets that she has no knight true and loyal. The supernatural elements has also been brought into through the mysterious curse on the lady, the magic web which she weaves, and the way in which the curse befalls her and she dies. So this poem is also interpreted as a medieval romance because there are so many elements of medievalism like the love romance, the bravery and the bold actions that are performed by the knight and the brave heroes, and the mysterious elements and supernatural elements are also in this poem. The another quality or the of this poem is the artistic merit. As we know that Tennyson is one of the most important poets of English literature, as well as he is one of the most artistic poets of English literature. So the word painting, or we can say that the artistic quality of Tennyson's poetry is remarkable. The Lady Shalott is one of the finest and most interesting narrative poem in the English language and is to be read and enjoyed as such. The narrative is swift and straightforward with no digression. The poem is to be enjoyed for its beautiful, vivid pictures which pass before the mind's eye in quick succession. There are a number of pictures: the river, the high road, the fields, the castle on the island, and the room with the lady in the room in which the lady weaving her magic web, and the moving scene outside reflected in the mirror. Sir Lancelot riding by, and the lady leaving her room to look after him from the window, the broken wave and the cracked mirror. All these scenes are painted very beautifully by Tennyson as an artist. The another quality of this poem is music and melody. We know that Tennyson is also famous for his music and melody in his poem. So Tennyson's poetry is full of melody and music, and the melody or music is also of high quality in Tennyson's poetry. The poem is to be enjoyed for its story, for its vivid pictures, and for its music. The language is simple as well as musical. Music has been created through the use of a number of skillful musical devices. There is artistic use of alliterations, as in four grey walls, four grey flowers, and in only reapers reaping early. There is also artistic use of uh, 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 medium rhymes, as in long field of barley and of rye, or in chanted loudly, chanted lowly. At other times, there is skillful manipulation of liquid consonants L, M, N, etc. In the following line, we can find all these qualities. Hung in the golden gallery, the bridal bells rung merrily. Uh, and the poem is also praised for its musical quality by G.M. Hopkins by calling it pure and sensuous poem. Then, lastly, the conclusion. I conclude the poem that the poem is a moral tale because a moral story, a moral lesson is told in this poem with the dangers and inadequacy of an isolated existence. So we can say that the isolated existence or the isolation of our life sometimes result into tragedy and unhappy happenings or events. So Tennyson as a poet tells a moral story in this poem or a moral lesson in this poem to the readers that the utter isolation or the long alienated life results sometimes into tragedy and misfortune, and the poem is a, we can say, a fairy tale, or the poem is a romance of medieval times, because there are so many medieval elements in this poem, as Tennyson is interested in medieval myth and legends. So the poem is one of the most important poem of Tennyson, and the poem is remarkable for its beautiful quality of music, painting, and the uh, constant flow of the scene after scenes. Thank you very much. In the next class, we will discuss the another topic. Thanks for listening.